Hi everybody, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and I'd like to show you how to generate your solar return chart. I am doing this video in response to a question where somebody asked, how do I do that? So if you need help in interpreting your solar return chart, that's one of the things that I do, and you can find me at alohaastro.com. But first, let's take a look at our two sources for generating charts that I personally enjoy using. One is at astroseek.com, and the other is at astro.com. I'm more familiar with astro.com because I've been using them for years. Over at astro.com, you will probably have to sign up, and you can access charts for free and a lot of chart interpretations for free. It's a lot of fun. Under free horoscopes, after you've registered, you can take a look at the drop-down menu, and over to the right, about halfway down in the third column, you will find Extended Chart Selection. Click on that, and you can, let's take a look for me, get my chart up. Put my name in the box there. Now, if you've entered your birth data, I don't know if you have to click Add a New Person to enter your data, but once you've got your data in there, then you choose You, and then under Chart Type, where it says Natal Chart Wheel, you would click the button here to find under the drop-down menu under Prognostic Methods. There we see Prognostic Methods. You're going to find all different types of charts, and you will find Solar Return Chart there. But before we actually click on that and create a chart, I want to show you the reference place. Now, I was not born here, but I have already changed this, and I just want to show you what happens when you click on Modify Data. Your reference place is a default setting, so if you were born in, let's say, Baltimore, Maryland, that is the data you put in for your natal chart, and that is what's going to come up as the default location. If you are spending your solar return, your birthday, on your birthday, if you are somewhere else, let's say you went to Paris on a vacation and that's where you were at your birthday, then you need to modify your data and put in a different location. Here we already have default settings toggled, but it may appear like this to you where you don't see any drop down. Just click on Default Settings, and you will see the reference place come up with your place of birth. If you were somewhere else at your solar return, you need to click on Modify Data. So when you click on Modify Data, it will open up this option to either use your birthplace or enter the town where you were. You can click Other Town if it's somewhere else. I will just hit the Continue since I've already altered this to be where I was at my birthday this year. Now that we have done that, and look at that, it's defaulted. Every time you go and change something, it goes and defaults back to the first person that I've got in my list alphabetically. So I have to put myself back in there. Now I can choose under Prognostic Methods, find that solar return chart. If you are wanting to add any additional objects, I like to add the descending node because that is the south node, and they only by default show the north node. So I'm going to put in the descending node. If you want to add any additional objects, such as your part of fortune or any of the asteroids or Lilith, you can do that as well. And then you click to show the chart. And there we go. So that is how you generate your solar return chart. I would recommend, if you're doing this at astro.com and if you want to study your solar return chart and compare it to your natal chart, open another window, go and generate your natal chart with transits, and then put the two windows side by side so you can look at your charts back and forth. Another place that is a lot of fun to visit, and I've just recently signed up for an account there and been using their different tools that they have, is over here at AstroSeek, and I'm already signed in, I do have a profile there, and I've already signed in. So you will need to sign up there, and again, these things are free. And down here under free horoscopes, charts, and calculations, you will find that transits, progressions, and solar return. Click on that. And here you choose under returns, solar return chart. You can also look at a monthly lunar return, which is actually very revealing. And if you are interested in following the moon and what it does in your daily life, as well as does the lunar return chart affect you on a monthly basis, the more you study the lunar return charts month after month after month, the more you will find that it's actually very valid, and that the lunar return chart can be showing you what the tone of the month will be and where your focus will be each month. So you can use that tool here if you would like, but we're primarily here answering the question, how do you set up your solar return chart? So there it is. It's very easy at AstroSeek. Let's see. It does tell you that it can occur on a different day than your traditional birthday, which is true. It may be the day before or the day after your birthday that the sun comes back to the exact degree it was when you were born, and it may also depend upon where you are at your birthday. So here it's already defaulted to where I will be on my solar return. You can change this if you need to change this. If you need to enter a different city, you can put in a different city and it will change it to the proper, the math of it. It is the location that determines your rising sign, and the rising sign then helps to place the planets in their appropriate houses, the transiting planets, at the time of your solar return. So the solar return is just a frozen picture, a snapshot of what's going on in the heavens at the time of your birthday at your solar return. And depending on where you are, you can have a very different rising sign. Here I was in Tennessee, but if I was in Africa or Japan or New York or wherever, my rising sign would vary depending on where I am. So the solar return is one of the few charts that is location-based, where you would change your actual city. And here we are looking at my natal chart on the inside, and we are looking at the solar return chart on the outside of the wheel. This makes it easier to line things up without opening two windows and putting two charts side by side. It's not as comfortable for me because I've spent years looking at charts at astro.com, but I can understand what I'm looking at. It's fairly simple from that perspective. It's just really what's comfortable or what's familiar to you, or what do you enjoy working with. And we can also choose different tabs here. Let's take a look at solar only. And here we have the solar return chart only, and I see that it does default to include Lilith. I do not know if you can add other things in here, other asteroids and things. These are main aspects, extended settings. Okay, here we have extended settings for the aspects, the orbs, the house system. It's a big rabbit hole. You can go down as far as you want to go down and start moving around and playing with different things over at AstroSeek. And with your natal chart here, free natal chart by date of birth, you will get an interpretation on your natal chart. And I would just like to say that when you look at individual pieces through any computer-generated interpretation, you are not getting a full synthesis of what an astrologer will give you when they step back and look at the entire chart and how the different pieces all connect together. So you're not getting the full picture that you could potentially have when you're getting a live interpretation, but you are getting knowledge and information. And if you are learning and studying, then this is a very good site for you to learn more about your individual placements within your natal chart. So that is how you can generate your solar return chart. And yes, the place where you are is important and does make a difference. However, whether going to a place for one day is going to be the chart that rules you all year, I'm not sure about that personally, because what happens when you go back to the location of where you live all year? I think the only way to know for sure is to draw up a solar return chart for both places. If you're choosing to deliberately go somewhere to have a particular chart, then return back home and watch how your year goes, and then look at both charts and see if the solar return chart for a different location that you travel to on your birthday to have a very specific chart is actually the dominant solar return chart, or is the dominant solar return chart the chart of where you reside for 364 days out of the year, rather than where you chose to be on your birthday. I am not sure how I feel about going somewhere specifically to create a certain chart. Maybe if you move there, that might make a difference. And again, that would create the need for a relocation chart and seeing how life would be in that particular place. But that is material for a different video. In the meantime, enjoy these resources, which are free. And if you need to, connect with a real person to be able to help you understand charts, I'm always available.